Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Gina and I do Pilates and yoga videos with a focus on the mechanics, mastering your body mechanics. Today, we're actually doing a daily mobile routine. So I'm going to be using some yoga blocks for a couple of them. You don't have to have them, but if you do, grab them now and we'll utilize them for a couple of the stretches. This is something that you can do in a short amount of time. You can do it right when you wake up, right before you go to bed. Just kind of layer it in to your daily routine somewhere. And what I'm going to do is just target some of the main muscles. So we'll get a little bit of the hamstring, the quad, the spine, and we'll just focus on some of the major parts of the body. Okay, well, let's get started. So we'll set your blocks aside for now. We're going to do hands and knees to begin with. We're going to start with a cat cow. This is for your spinal mobility. So your cat cow starts right above your pelvis, right at your pelvis where your navel is. You begin moving that, and then from your navel to your tailbone, curls away from your navel, and then navel to head curls the other way. And your goal is to go sequentially so you don't miss any part of your back, and your head goes last. Now start with the navel, like a plumb line is attached to your navel. Your navel goes first, then accordingly, you go ahead and sequence through the rest of your spine. Tailbone going behind you, and then the head coming last. Start at your navel. Only move when you've gotten to that place in your spine. Many times I'll see people's heads have already gone and they're only at the midway back, right? So you don't want your head to go yet until it's time. And one more. They curl, let your head hang. Deep breath in, and then one more cow. And I also, while here on the hands and knees, like to do a nice little side bend. So head and tailbone wag to the left, head and tailbone wag to the right. It's like you're wrapping, if there was a pull right here, like a telephone pole, you would be wrapping yourself around it. So it's not leaning side to side, it's just bending. Now that movement with the pelvis is challenging, it's tricky, so it's good to practice it. Side to side. One more. Last one. And then we'll take this right into a nice child's pose. I'm going to place my feet together and go ahead and lean back. Head rests down. If it touches comfortably, let it rest onto the floor. Here, you want your tailbone to get heavy and release down towards your heels. And let your shoulders relax like there's a waterfall pouring off your back down towards the floor, melting any tightness or tension in your back. Deep breath in and out. Then exhale, slowly roll back up. I'm going to do our rotation in our spine kneeling today. So I'm going to come on up. If it's not comfy on your knees, you can do this standing or seated. We're going to keep your hips stable here. In fact, you can grab a block if you have one and put it right on the inner thighs. Hands stacked, not too high, and we'll go ahead and just going to rotate. Spinal rotation. Our bodies need to do this throughout the day. Oftentimes we don't get a deep rotation in. So let's try open arms. This is a good way. Good thing, good stretch to practice each day. Watch so your shoulders aren't jamming. The movement is truly coming from your spinal rotators, which are your obliques and some of your back muscles. Good, last one. And back to center. All right, let's take the block out. And we're going to use both blocks now for the big leg muscles. So we're going to get into your quad and hip flexor. We're going to take a lunge. One leg forward and one leg back. If you don't have blocks, you can press here. Make sure that you're not sinking into your lunge. So what I mean by that is this, not being lazy, right? You want to press your front foot into the floor and then draw your leg muscles up and in towards your spine. And then use that back leg actively, hugging in and drawing towards your pelvis, right? Then you can stretch through the front of your hip. And when I do it on the other side, you'll see it a little bit better, the front of the hip, as opposed to sinking. That's where you can really strain your hip flexor. And oftentimes people will strain it because they're going and sinking into the hip flexor instead of holding. Stretching, you need to use your muscles. Only if you're doing a passive stretch. Let's go ahead and switch. But most stretching is active stretching. So this would be kind of passive and it doesn't feel great in the front of my hip. So I'm going to actively draw my muscles in. See how I get higher then? And I'm pulling this leg towards me and this leg towards the pelvis too. Then you get a really nice stretch through the front of your hip and the hip flexor. It's a correct stretch now. Good. Let's take this into a hamstring stretch. So we're going to move your hips back and straighten out the front leg. I also use the blocks here. I'm just going to drop it one lower. This is not about rounding your spine, right? It's just going right into the hamstring stretch with a flat back. So I'm really reaching my crown of the head forward, hips backwards, trying not to shift to the side too much. You should definitely feel a stretch right back here in your hamstring. And for stretching, static stretching, where you're holding a stretch, you want to do 30 seconds minimum. 30 seconds to a minute is best. Good. And we'll go ahead and do the other side. So hamstring stretch to the back of your thigh here. Flat back. I'm reaching both my sits bones back behind me so the pelvis doesn't shift, the toes don't turn to the side, keeping everything straight. You will protect your joints that way and get a better stretch. A few more breaths here. Good. And then release the leg. You got it. Now we're going to set the blocks aside and we're going to go into, this is called Pancake Yoga. We're going to go into a wide position, wide forward fold essentially. So anchor your heels to the floor and press down. That engages your quads a little so that your feet aren't going to roll in. And then you're going to lean forward. And walk your hands out in front of you. So it's a little inner thigh, a little hamstring. Okay, and then we're going to get a stretch in the upper back. So then you can start to round your back. What you don't want to do is collapse everything, right? So you can see that difference there. You're going to have everything nice and active in your back. Now, if you want to go in deeper, you're going to take your hands, right, and press down underneath your calves. Use your calves to press down, maybe even going all the way to your forearm. This is the full pancake. Now that's a lot. If you've never done this before, just get your hands under there, press your legs down, actively using your legs, and that's going to give you a nice stretch through your upper back. So in any forward fold, seated forward fold position, please be active. Passive, you can strain your neck and your low back pretty easily. So active muscles, then you get the stretch. Whew. You can release that. If you wanted to do just a regular forward fold too, you could do that, and that would just look like this. We won't hold this for very long, just to give you another alternative. And then into a side bend. So we'll take our legs back to a little straddle here, place one hand on the ground, and then reach. So opening up your side body, press your heels and sits bones firmly into the floor, And then lift your ribs away from your hips, your pelvis. It's not so much about our arm or shoulder. In fact, this is too much, as you can see. It is really just get the arm up there and then focus on the stretch right through the side body. Anchoring your opposite hip. And then we'll rise up and we'll go to the other side. So anchoring the sits bone first is important. If you don't, you lose the stretch, and then you're going further and further without actually getting a deep stretch here. So thigh presses down, heel and sits bone, those are your anchoring points. And then again, the arm is just secondary. You could even put your hand on your head and focus the ribs away from the hips and then the shoulder away from your ribs. And then if you want to add the arm here, and stack that back up for a good opening in our side body. And then last for the glutes, come onto your back and we'll do just a traditional figure 4 stretch where you cross. Let's do this leg first. One of your lower legs over the thigh, not your ankle. You want to avoid this, putting your foot there. If you roll your foot, it can pull on the outside knee. It's not so great. So flex your foot into a neutral position and put your lower leg onto your thigh. If you can, to deepen this, reach through with one arm and grab your leg. Same thing here. We're not just being passive. You want to stay center. You can flex both feet. I'm reaching my sits bones long. I'm reaching my right leg, gently pressing it away from me, but gentle. It's not so much that you move your pelvis, right? Your pelvis stays stable. It's the leg in the socket. You can also do this sitting in a chair. I would slide to the front of the chair and then cross one leg up on the other, but sometimes people can get their leg up like that, sitting in a chair. Let's switch legs. So you could also do this with the wall right here. You could go up to the wall, put your foot on the wall. So if I press too much, my pelvis would shift. So I'm just going to hold the pelvis still and the leg gently reaches away. Good. Right into your deep glutes there. Deep breath in, a deep breath out. One more deep breath in and out. Let your bones get nice and heavy into the floor. Then you can release your leg. Finish with a nice hug of your knees to your chest. Deep breath in. Hug your knees in and rock side to side. And you can get through your whole body pretty quickly that way. Those are the major muscles. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys on the mat next time.